it's Chimdi. So I am super excited about this video. I just spent a week in New York City shooting my very first web series, and it was all thanks to Adobe and Creator Camp and 368 Studios, which is actually Casey Neistat Studios. And I never would have thought that I would be given such a dope opportunity. I genuinely learned so much. It was so interesting. I just learned so much about myself and about the process of creating. I wanted to hop on here and share it with you all right? So this is gonna be the 5 things that I learned from my very first studio production, my very first web show. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I think this is the first of many, all right? I think you get used to seeing me on different screens besides my YouTube screen, because we're gonna keep making it happen. Before we get into the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and now I have a new thing to say, which is join my Patreon. I'm so excited to have a Patreon, you all, but I just really thank and appreciate all of you who are supporting me on there. Y'all are the best. I'm actually just finished recording my first video cast, which is just gonna be for the Patreon. Really excited about that. But enough of that, let's go ahead and get this video started. The very first thing I learned from my first web series studio production in New York City is that I am in fact going to move to New York City. I've been thinking about where my next city was going to be ever since I left LA. You all know that I was planning to live in Mexico for a while and just learn Spanish and just be immersed in that culture and take advantage of that really nice cost of living. And instead I ended up coming here to Maryland and living with my sister. Being here has been amazing. It's been a really lovely period of just letting myself kind of get used to being a full-time creative and really experiment and really grow and really understand how I was going to support myself financially and what kind of life I wanted for myself. I feel like this has been a really beautiful container for that. But I've always been thinking, and we all know, like, this was not a long-term solution at all. It really is about setting myself up for that next chapter. And so I was thinking about Chicago because I've heard amazing things about Chicago. I know that winter is crazy, but I was like, I like snow. Like, that's fine. And with global warming, maybe it wouldn't even snow as much, you know, who knows? And it is very affordable there. And then I actually have a brother who lives in New York City, so I was like, oh, maybe I could do New York. Obviously, when we think about like major media hubs, it's like New York and LA are the main ones, right? And I've done LA, loved LA, but realistically, like, I just don't see myself being someone who drives regularly. I see myself having lots of nice cars because I see that's where my money is gonna take me, but I don't see myself as a driving person, and the traffic in LA is a very important part of LA. And so I actually was kind of going to New York with this energy of, let me see if this is the kind of city where I can live. Yes, it is very expensive. I was staying in Manhattan. I was staying in Battery Park, which is, you know, near the financial district. So truly, I saw the prices. I saw how much things cost, and I was like, okay. But when I thought about how it felt to be there, and for me, it was just like that ease of navigating. Like, I've visited New York a bunch of times already because I've got family there, because it's just a cool city to go to. It wasn't a new thing for me to like hop on the train and like, you know, take the subway somewhere. And just the ease with which I was able to go out. I like saw a movie while I was there, met up with friends to like get food. You know, it was just very easy to navigate. And I think what also really cemented it is I was talking to the head of the studio there. He was asking, oh, where do you live? And I mentioned I lived in Maryland, but I was thinking about moving to New York, and he was like, you should definitely do it. He was saying, like, when you are just kind of talking to someone and they mention that you live in New York, your mind always just thinks like, oh, this is someone I could do business with. And I spoke to someone else who was also one of the mentees. So the way the program was set up is that it was 3 mentors, 6 of us mentees, and they basically over the course of the week gave us this great advice and instruction as we were building our own creative careers. One of the other mentees mentioned how, you know, she has gotten so many opportunities because she is just based in New York. So just that fact that she's already there has allowed her to be like, you know, hey, we're shooting this thing tomorrow, can you come? She's like, sure. And that's another opportunity. And I was like, I know because of my nature and because of my ability to network, I'd really be able to take advantage of that. So within the year, don't be surprised if y'all see me in New York if I just move there, because I think that is gonna be my next spot. And truly, God's plan, God willing, but that's what I'm looking at. Look, y'all, real lighting. I'm on a studio set. I just met these people, they real cool. We out here. Okay, so the next thing I learned, y'all, is mentorship can really save lives, all right? Like I said, the week was structured where these 3 dope-ass mentors, Ihezie, who I only am in Creator Camp. Like, I feel like I like literally owe this next phase of my creative career to Ihezie, because if it wasn't for her reaching out to me about Creator Camp in the first place, I would not have gotten to do so much dope stuff. We also had Mandy Celine, who was also one of the instructors during the Creator Camp that I was a part of. And we also had the wonderful Valentina B, who is such a dope editor and producer and director. So we got to have these 3 dope women spend the week with us and teach us about lighting and telling our story and pitching to brands and like how to value yourself to make sure you get the right amount of money, all these different aspects of a creative career. We kind of each got some one-on-one time. For me, I worked with Mandy. She was actually teaching me about audio. Premiere Pro really is such a rich tool, and to see just like the audio suite and how much is there, I was like, goodness. And I still haven't put any of those things necessarily into practice yet, but I know they're there, all right? So when I'm ready, I will be able to access it. You know, just hearing about different folks' journeys, like the mistakes they've made, and it just made it seem extremely feasible to have the kind of amazing careers that they have gotten to have and work with the same amazing people that they have gotten to work with. It's such a difference to have those real relationships with people and have them be in real life and not just online. One of the main reasons I was there is around the editing, right? Like, how can I make my editing more efficient, more easy? Just seeing the tips and tricks and all these small things that like are just such game changers when I think about the kind of editing that I do. Truly just how much easier and faster it can be. Basically, like, I can just do so much and there's so much that already exists, and their mentorship was really incredible for helping me understand that.
I'm a mother city girl.
That's how they start the dance, right?
Yeah.
The next thing I learned is how dope it is to create in community. As a YouTuber, you just spend so much time creating by yourself. You know, you shoot by yourself, you edit by yourself, you promote by yourself, you get your thumbnails by yourself, you get your beer by yourself. Like, everything is by yourself. And you just get used to it, you know? Like, you get used to creating with what you have and making that work, you know? And to spend this week with other creators and to have that opportunity to create with them was completely different. One of the dope creators that I really got to know was Fabiola. She is amazing. She's got a podcast, she's got her own channel, super amazing illustrator and creative. We spent an afternoon, a morning, just like running around New York and getting a bunch of amazing B-roll. And it's wild how immediately, like, if you've ever tried to record yourself in public, like, it can be very awkward. But the second I had someone else there with me, I was like, this subway platform is my stage. Like, y'all get out of my way as I get all my B-roll shots. Like, all of that awkwardness completely disappeared because something about being there with someone else is just completely a game changer, both in terms of like that comfort you feel and that fun that you feel, but also in terms of like what you were able to get, like having another person holding the camera, having another person thinking of like framing ideas and just like ways to set up shots, having other equipment. You know, she had this super dope like DJI camera thing that I had never seen before. Got amazing footage. He also had like a stabilizer, so getting these gorgeous shots of like, it was just so freaking beautiful, and it was so cool too. Like, I wouldn't have known about any of this stuff. Taylor, who's also another great creator, her channel is It's Radish Time. She brought these like super dope lights that she uses. They like instantly make her videos look so gorgeous, and we actually utilized them during a session we had that was all around how to set up great lighting. It's just these things that I would have had no idea about. And what's been especially tangible from that experience is the confidence around money and around getting sponsorships and getting brand deals. It has been a long time that I've been thinking, okay, you can be reaching out to brands and getting dope deals. I just have not been doing it. Being in conversation with those women, it allowed me to go from like thinking to like actually putting it in place and like actually reaching out to brands. So I'm recording this while it's still December, but I've already like made a list of brands I'm gonna reach out to. I've already like created a script. I've created a whole media kit. It's so cool, and I know that I wouldn't have had the confidence if it hadn't been for being in that group with those amazing people.
You look cold. You know what I mean?
Nips are hard, ready to fight. But this is what I do for the content. This is the kind of sacrifices that I make. Hey y'all, it's Chimdi. Remember this when I would like interrupt in the middle of the video and like talk to y'all? First off, shout out to everybody who is supporting me on Patreon. You all are truly the best. And let me know in the comment section, how do you feel about me moving to New York City? Do you like New York City? Have you ever lived in New York City? How do you think my content would change? And then also let me know, like, have you done anything new lately? Like things that you really thought, wow, I've kind of always wanted to do this and here I am doing it. What did it teach you? What did you learn? Etc. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. What's going on? Okay. Back to the video.
We're gonna get started on the next sesh.
Thank you. We are on our way.
A lot more to do.
No,
we just recorded a nice little 30 seconds.
Okay, amazing.
The next thing I really learned is that you can make it in so many different ways. The key thing is really to just have fun, and ideally have fun with your friends. We had a bunch of dope panel talks, including 2 guys who made it on TikTok, which was very interesting for its own reasons. Like, you know, be watching these people who are like a decade younger than you and are already having these like huge platforms, and they did it with this like emerging new technology. And we also had folks like the guys from like Desus and Mero and like other directors who like work with Beyonce, and they're talking about their experience and their journey from shooting things with like a Canon 80D or whatever, from that to like shooting with Beyonce and having her say, we actually want to shoot it in that exact same style. What was so consistent was that folks were not necessarily doing it to make money. In fact, they were not. They were just creative people who love to create, and they were using what they had and whatever resources they had, whatever platforms were available. And it was that passion that allowed them to be successful. Very often when they were creating with friends and there was that joy there, that is what allowed them to be really successful. That really resonated with me because with YouTube, you know, it can be a very frustrating thing as you're trying to like chase the algorithm and grow your channel and juggle with how honest you want to be and the different ways of storytelling on YouTube. Like, this is like a lot, and sometimes it can be not that fun. When it's not fun to do something, to me, I'm like, what is the point? The point is joy in life. So if I'm not having a beautiful, wonderful, joyous time in my expression, I'm not doing it right, basically. And one thing that I experienced while I was there, because we were working on our own creative project, was that feeling of not having enough time, not having enough resources, not having enough, you know, just that lack mindset, truly. And that was one of the things that the panelists shared, was like, that feeling doesn't go away. You always feel like you're just trying to make it work with what you have. So even if you've got like this $50,000 budget, you're just like, oh, how are we gonna make it work? To having like $500,000 budget, we're like, oh, we're still trying to like make it, it's all scrappy, you know, trying to make it work. Because I feel that now, like literally I'm shooting this video, it's like after 4 p.m. on the East Coast, like the sun is setting, I'm like, what am I gonna do about my lighting? I only have one mic that is broken, you know, I have one lens that doesn't autofocus anymore, which is really annoying because that was the reason why I bought the lens. And I'm just making it work, and to understand that it's kind of always that scrappy, and like kind of ultimately all that matters is the energy you're bringing, the story you're telling, and it's going to resonate with the people that it's supposed to resonate with. It really is about the process. And that's been a major thing for me too, is like being process focused. What I can't control is how many people watch it, how many people share it. It's really not worth losing sleep over that stuff anymore. It's Friday morning. I can't believe my time in New York City is coming to an end. I mean, I can believe it. It's a week. That's how time goes. I am right now washing my clothes because this hotel room has in-unit washer and dryer. Yes, in-unit washer and dryer in New York City. What a blessing. And then the final thing that I learned from my week with Adobe and with Creator Camp and 368 Studios is that I am here for the conversations. When they reached out to me and they were like, hey, we're doing this web series, would you want to be a part of it? Of course I was like, yes. And they asked me like a series of questions, and one of them was around, who is one of your inspirations? Basically, like, what are your creative goals, right, over the next few years? And I was very clear. I was like, my goal is to be the next Oprah. Straight to media moguldom. You know, we were supposed to create what could have worked as a new channel trailer for me, because my channel trailer, I feel like it's a little bit outdated just because, if no other reason than my haircut has changed. I am so certain, and people did like take that time and create incredibly like really powerful and amazing capsule videos, like a minute long. That is not what I did, all right? My video had a lot of blank space, had a lot of like fade to black music underneath with like writing that's like, this is where I'm gonna insert something later kind of energy. I knew that if I wanted to, I could sit there and like create that kind of video. But when I think about my life and what's important to me and what I deeply, deeply value, it is human connection. And so what I was doing, when we were not shooting, I was having a conversation with somebody. I was walking up to somebody who I'd never spoken to before, and I was like, hi, tell me your entire life story. Like, let's get into it. And I was doing that from like the people who were like the camera folks, like other artists who were in the studio with us, to like people who worked with Adobe, to like the actual owner of the studio, like to the other mentees, to the mentors. When I think about the kind of content I create for you all, the editing is important, but it's not the most important thing. Like, I think what I'm bringing is my energy. I'm bringing my journey. It's not necessarily so much like the quick cuts and the great transitions, and like when I feel alive, it is when I'm talking to someone else. I talk to so many people with long conversations, and I'm literally about to head out, and then the owner of the studio was like, oh, hey, you're heading out now? And I was like, yeah. So I literally spent the next like 35, 45 minutes just being like, so how has this been for you? And just like getting to know him. And that was so cool. And that was a conversation where he was like, girl, move to New York. And so I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I've been watching Victor Odo, I think is how I say his last name, thanks to the wonderful Unique who introduced me to him. And one thing he shared in a recent video was all around like your purpose, and sometimes we're searching like, what is that purpose gonna be? Sometimes when we know what it is, it starts getting a little scary, like, wait a minute, am I ready for that? I kind of have always known what my purpose was, and it being around like human connection and human relationships and conversation and things like that. And I think I'm still in the process of figuring out exactly how that manifests itself. This week was just such a confirmation for me that like, yes, as much as I love to learn about lighting, editing, camera lenses, when I think about what really gets me excited, it is the human side, and it is really like learning and exploring with people. And that's where the spiritual work that we do, that's where it's put into practice, when you're able to be present in this moment with other people and hear them and see yourself in them. Alright y'all, so we are here in the famous New York City with the girl Fabiola. We are doing a creative project, walking through the streets. Alright, doing some vlogging for y'all because y'all are always asking me for it. Here, fine, you happy? I'm vlogging, alright? Yeah, I vlog. Random.
New York City, we outside. We'll come to New Jersey.
See, this is why I don't vlog in public because of shit like this. Great week. 5 stars. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to see more. And of course, join me on Patreon where we're having our own little good times in our own little community. Let me know in the comments. Have you gotten to do any really cool, dope things lately? Like any new things that you've done for the first time? What are you excited about doing for the first time? I'll see you on the next one. Bye.